You aren't a new voice to KDHL, are you?
No, I'm not, and I'm excited to. It's a new show for us for doing the AM Minnesota, so we're excited to.
And speaking of the Just Food Co-op, before we go any farther, here we go. And would you like to explain why I played that little happy birthday tune?
So we're pretty excited. Today is our 11th birthday. The co-op has been in Northfield for 11 years now, serving our community, so it's pretty exciting. Last year we had a big birthday bash for our 10th year, but heading into the tween-age years now.
But your 10th anniversary, you didn't have anybody sing happy birthday to you on the air, did you?
We absolutely did not, so this was very exciting. Thank you so much for that.
It was a number of years ago. I went up to the Just Food Co-op and hosted KDHL's AM Minnesota program, and I had a blast.
You know, the co-op is a really fun, community-centered place, so we're excited that you were there, and I'm excited to be back and kind of tying some of that back in, so super.
I don't know how to explain the atmosphere. I mean, I was sitting at the tables up front, people were coming in, shopping, some were stopping, visiting, having coffee.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we hope that we are for the community, is a place to gather and talk and chat. And I mean, obviously shop, it's a grocery store, but there's this community feel that you're not going to get somewhere else. So we're happy that we can provide that. I mean, coffee, and there's always some lovely baked goods sitting around.
No.
Right? No, it's the holiday time, so there's baked goods sitting around all over the place. But, you know, it's a really great place for folks to even be able to see their farmers, because our farmers are shopping there. But just a great place to gather and chat.
Well, tell us a bit more about the Just Food Co-op, maybe for folks that don't know a whole lot about it. We have to break in 2 minutes, so kind of whet our appetite, and then after the market break, we'll talk in more detail.
Sounds good. Well, Just Food Co-op is in downtown Northfield. We are a community-owned grocery store, which means our members own us, but everyone is welcome to shop. You don't have to be a member to shop at the co-op. But the folks that have purchased a membership at the co-op, it's a one-time membership. That's $125, not a yearly, but just a one-time investment into your co-op. And what it means is you're supporting a local organization, which we do the same, supporting local farmers, local businesses, community partners. Just the co-op is there to serve our members. That's our goal, and to be that kind of hub in the community.
And I also get the impression, too, to kind of bridge the gap between the consumer and the farmers that are producing the food.
Absolutely. I mean, especially for our local farmers, one of the main goals, and one of the things that we know that we do differently, is we pay a fair price to our farmers for the goods that they're delivering. And like I said, most of our farmers are also members and shoppers at the co-op, so we know them personally, we know their story, and so that's something that we can share with our shoppers. So something that really makes us a little bit different than the big box stores that you might go frequent.
Or maybe the farmers, when they're delivering their products, produce, whatever it is, they stop and have a cup of coffee and visit with the shoppers while they're there.
Absolutely. Right? It's not uncommon for them to kind of go to the loading dock, unload, get the goods that we have purchased from them, and then they go park in the parking lot and stop in and either shop or, just like you said, chat with the customers.
Well, speaking of markets, we better not miss the market break. Never a good idea when the farm guy misses a market.
No, that's not a good idea.
So Stephanie, if you can stand by, we'll take a break for the markets. And Stephanie Amon from the Just Food Co-op on Water Street in Faribault is in studio for today's AM Minnesota program. The best way to describe Stephanie is a shy, quiet one.
Of course. I mean, I think everybody thinks I'm an introvert.
Yes, exactly. That's why you fit in real well at the Just Food Co-op.
For sure. Yeah, you know, some of the really great things that we really love to talk to folks about is some of our involvement in our community, too. In Northfield, we're involved with some different things that allow our community partners to be part of the co-op. And we talk about that community feel for the grocery store, but we have community partners every month that our customers round up for. So our customers gave back over $10,000 to local businesses last year. And that's something we feel is really special for the co-op. And so I guess that's something we just wanted to make sure folks knew that it's more than just a grocery store. It's really part of the community.
A big part of the community,
Right.
It sounds
like.
like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's not the co-op giving their funding. It's people at the register rounding up their purchases from, like $12.91 to $13. And just those little pennies adding up for local nonprofits. So just being part of that.
How did the Just Food Co-op first get started? Exactly 11 years ago.
Right, well, so we opened our doors 11 years ago, which means that they were planning for a couple of years ahead of that. And before we ever even opened our doors, there were over 700 people that invested in the co-op, which means over 700 people believed that this store was going to make it before they ever opened the doors, which is really a pretty big deal. Yeah. So it was 11 years ago that we opened the doors. But like I said, the planning for that started 2 years prior, just finding the space and figuring out the market study and all that sort of thing. There's been several different versions of the co-op in Northfield, but this is the one that stuck, and I'm pretty excited about that, obviously. But there were several different grocery store type co-ops that were in Northfield that just really didn't quite take off the way that Just Food has. And part of that, I'm sure, is just the way that the market is now, that folks are really kind of looking to find those more healthful foods for their families, and able to afford some of that now. I mean, that's also a reality.
Well, why don't you describe what it's like, Stephanie? Because when
Sure.
I was there, it kind of looked like a typical grocery store in terms of the meat department, the
Yep.
produce department, the dairy department.
And we have all of that. Our produce department, that's kind of our shining star, right? I mean, you walk in and you see this beautiful produce aisle, of which we still have local lettuce in. I mean, it's December in Minnesota, but there's
Well, it's
actually
been warm, but I didn't think it was that warm.
and that's how far our growing practices have come, right? There's a company in Faribault that practices, I think it's agroponics.
Hydroponics, isn't it?
Nope, there's an agroponics. There's
Okay.
two different kinds.
Okay.
They're an agroponics, which allows them to grow year-round. So we can have locally grown Minnesota lettuce in the dead of winter, which is pretty exciting.
So I assume that's in some type of greenhouse, then,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
guessing?
my understanding, I should have brought my produce manager with me, is it's like a warehouse and they can grow up. So instead of it being
all spread out.
Right, it goes up, so they can provide more then, because there's more space vertically than horizontally.
And hydroponics, I know I've seen that where they're actually growing completely in water, but
Right.
there again, that's kind of in a greenhouse or inside, but.
Right, and this is apparently, the roots are misted with the water and nutrients that it needs, so it doesn't need to grow in water, which is how they can go up with it, and its sunlight is given to it. I don't quite know how it happens.
All you know is it works.
It works, and it means we can have local lettuce in the middle of winter. And of course, we still have the root veggies and all that sort of thing in the produce department, potatoes and squash, and those are all local at this point. But you walk through the store and there's local meats and local cheeses. We have the artisan cheeses from overseas as well, but we're really proud of how much we can support our local farmers within the store. It's something that many other grocery stores can't do.
Well, and then even in the meat department, it was all packaged up really nice and neat
Yeah.
and professional looking.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, we get our local hamburger from Thousand Hills, which is just in Cannon Falls. So you get a really great grass-fed beef, and they have other cuts of meat as well, but the hamburger. But we also sourced some hamburger from another cooperative, actually, called Down in the Valley, and they're just north of Apple Valley. So all of the burger that you're going to find in the store is local.
Within about 50 miles or less.
Exactly. I mean, even if you look at our meat case, almost all of it is local, other than we carry Applegate Farms, which is a lunch meat. But other than that, even our bacon comes from a local source. So it's pretty exciting to be able to support the local farming community in that way.
That is pretty unique, isn't it?
We think it is. I mean, even if you look at some of the other cooperatives in the Twin Cities, they have those items, but they also have other items. And I feel like for Just Food to be able to support that local food shed as much as we are able to, and obviously we can't support it unless our customers do. We're buyers for our members. But they're coming in to purchase the local items as well. So we feel like it's a pretty unique situation where we can say, you look at that meat case and almost everything in there is a local product. So you're supporting your local farmers, which contributes to the local economy and just keeps going
and keeps
over.
the money all here rather than
Exactly.
going to the other side of the country.
Exactly.
Or a lot of the produce, you know, in the winter, dead of winter in the upper
Yeah.
Midwest comes from, is it Chile and places like that?
Right, and we try very hard to not have that happen. You know, we obviously can't grow citrus in Minnesota. That's one of our downfalls, right? So it's coming in from California or from Florida, but we make sure that that's sourced properly too. So.
But you also do have like canned goods and dried goods, some of those, so it's not.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because when you say, you know, a local co-op type of food store, you think, okay, it's only there in the kind of the summertime and it only
Yeah.
has these certain products. But you have a lot of the things that a normal grocery store would have too.
Absolutely. In what you're going to find from ours that is different is we have a pretty rigid product policy, meaning that you're not going to find in our store some of the things that maybe you're not wanting in your food. Whether it's MSG or food dye, those things they don't come into our store. Those are MSG and food dye are two major things that when we look at products, if it contains it, it doesn't meet our product policy, so it's not allowed in.
And you hear of like nitrates, apparently a lot of nitrates is in
Yep.
different products.
Yep. And unless that's a naturally occurring, like from a celery salt, that can be a nitrate. It also does not make it in the store. So we're excited about that we can offer some really good, healthy food to folks at reasonable prices.
I remember years ago when I was there, you were really trying to get the word out. I don't think you even were with
No.
the co-op at that time.
I was not.
But so many people had that perception that unless you were a quote member,
Right.
you couldn't shop with the Just Food Co-op.
No, and then we want you to come and shop with us. We want you to come and see us. Even if you just want to come and take a look at the store and see what we're about. Our staff are glad and happy to talk with folks about whatever it might be. And we've got a great wellness department that if you're looking to fight that cold or whatever is coming at us this fall and winter, our wellness folks have got some really great tips. And there's lots of different things. It's not just, you know, this farmer's market is oftentimes what a co-op is thought as, but we really are a grocery store with this great wellness department as well. So.
And then some people maybe that can help folks. A lot of folks have to have a special diet too.
Yep.
Gluten-free, for example, and some of the,
Yep.
there's a lot of different things that people really have special requirements.
Absolutely, and honestly, I'm one of the gluten-free folks. I've got a son that is gluten-free, so there's members of our staff that are living these diets, and we absolutely can help. I mean, if somebody were to come in and say, hey, this is all brand new to me, there is somebody, I guarantee you, on our staff that can help walk through that, whether they've got it in their household or whether they just really have educated themselves about, you know, the paleo diet was a huge and still is a huge diet that folks are coming in and asking for information on. And we have at least 2 or 3 folks on our staff that are very knowledgeable and are living that paleo diet. So there's lots of different ways that we can help.
Well, you can imagine if you're a parent and you're fine and all that you find out or your son or daughter,
Yep.
child is diagnosed with allergies to gluten, and now all
Yep.
at once you have to have a gluten-free diet. It's kind of, oh, what do I do?
I was that parent before I worked there. I walked in the store, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I mean, and that was before. He's 13 now, and it was 8 years ago. Walking into that store, just going, I have no idea what to even look for. And
I don't even know what gluten is in. I've since learned. Isn't that bread, wheat has a lot of gluten in it?
Yeah, bread is the biggest culprit, but there's lots of different places where gluten can show up. But wheat is the main, and there's barley and rye, lots of different grains.
Not that that's bad for you, but just that some people can't tolerate it, right?
Exactly. Celiac disease is typically what that would be. Folks that have celiac disease, one of the main treatments is to be on a gluten-free diet. The gluten is what actually makes them so sick. So, and that's something that we can certainly help with, and so many of our shelves are actually tagged with gluten-free, so it makes it a lot easier to shop if that's the case. But we're always happy to talk about substitutions. You come in and you've got a 5-year-old that you've got to change a diet for. That's tough. You can't have macaroni and cheese the way that you knew that you had it, or pizza or whatever.
But there still are some breads and some macaronis that are quote gluten-free,
Absolutely,
right?
And it's finding those and helping parents find those things to substitute for the kids, because it's tough to have a child that can't eat the way that all of their friends eat. So we're glad to help with that.
The other thing that I was amazed at when I first found out I was going up to the Just Food Co-op, going to host the program out there, I kind of expected this little building, maybe
right.
upstairs in one of the downtown. It's this great big store.
We've got
You
a
are
pretty
so
nice piece of real
fortunate.
estate. Yeah. And honestly, we're kind of busting at the seams right now. The growth probably since you've been there has been exponential.
Just don't take those tables out.
Right. The tables won't go away.
Okay.
You can overlook the street and have your lunch. And our deli does a great job with our lunches, and so yeah, we'd love for everybody to come and just check it out.
The deli. We should talk more about that.
I actually ate from there this morning. They had chilaquiles for breakfast. If you have not had those from our folks, you need to come.
Now you should have been thinking about your good friends here at the station.
I know, right? Should have brought some down. But no, our deli, they have, if you go on our website, which we launched last week, but we're touting it today. It's a brand new site for our 11th birthday. We've got, the menu is all online, so you can actually see what's on our hot bar. So we have hot entrees every day, as well as 3 different soups and a salad bar. And our deli also makes grab-and-go sandwiches and salads. So if you're on the run, you can come in and grab something and head on out. Or if you want to sit down and eat, we've got some great soups and warm dishes for lunch, and
Soups.
It's really great.
Do you have chili?
We often have chili. It might be a chicken chili, could be a beef chili, but usually there's some form of a chili.
Chili is chili, and as long as it has meat in it.
Exactly. But they've really had some really great. Yesterday I had split pea and ham and Thai ginger carrot.
If you're having it there, are you permitted to crumple up crackers and
for
put them in soup?
Sure, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
You
We
can't
even
have
provide
soup
the
without
crackers.
crackers.
Exactly. So.
Why don't you explain a bit, Stephanie, too, about the governing structure of the Just Food Co-op? I'm guessing it's like a lot of the co-ops that I'm familiar with, farmer-owned, the grain elevators, crop production. You probably organize the same way with the board of directors,
Yep,
right?
exactly. So we have a 9-person board of directors that they're the voice for our members, right? Because the board of directors, they have to be members of the co-op to serve on the board.
Well,
and
that's kind of logical, isn't it?
Right, you would think. But so there's 9 that kind of provide that direction to our general manager. So then the general manager oversees the staff in the store. So the kind of the visioning direction from the board passed through the general manager, who then implements and operational sorts of things. So so the board of directors really is that voice for our membership, but also in addition to whether you could come through the board of directors, or we have comment boxes as well. If you want us, as a member, if you want us to know something, we're glad to take that feedback too. But the board really is that voice for our membership and what that direction is going to be.
It probably has like an annual meeting then.
Yep. Our annual meetings are in October. That's a big month for co-ops. It's co-op month and fair trade month, and we do a membership.
And for a lot of businesses too, it's kind of the end and then the start of a fiscal year.
Exactly. It's kind of when we've tied up our finances for the previous year. We have a July to the end of June fiscal year. But by October, we've had our audits and done all that stuff, and we can officially present financials to our members. And this year we had a little over 225 of our folks show up for an annual meeting, which
that's a lot.
We're happy with attendance. And our deli did all of the catering, and it was fabulous. And we had cake from a local Cakewalk, is a local cupcake cake bakery shop that is amazing. Little plug for Cakewalk in Northfield. If you've not had the Cakewalk cake, I should have brought that down too. But that was the other piece. Again, supporting a local business even at our annual meeting.
And then at that annual meeting, I assume a certain number of board members' terms are up each year, and they're either running for re-election, or maybe someone else might get elected onto the board.
Exactly. And we hold our elections a month ahead of the meeting, and you could still vote obviously at the night of the meeting, but those folks were announced at the annual meeting. So, yeah.
About how many staff are there roughly?
We are a little over, I think we're heading towards the 60s. We're in the mid 50s to low 60s. So, yeah, and over half of those folks are full-time staff now. So, which is super exciting for a grocery store to have half of it staff full-time, and that means that they're all benefit eligible employees.
Yeah.
It's
a lot
really
of
great.
businesses, well, we want to keep it half-time so we don't
Right.
have to pay fringe
No,
benefits.
and that's, our goal is actually, if there's folks that are currently part-time and they want to be full-time, if there's an opportunity for that to happen, we want that to happen.
And obviously they would have first chance because they already work there, and obviously they like it and they're learning about it.
Right.
Because it's more than just, okay, Jerry wants this and I don't know
Right.
where it is.
No.
So it's more than just take me to the aisle where this is that I'm looking for.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, for our staff, that's one of the things that we stress is folks are looking to us to be the experts on these products that are on our shelves. And we need to know where they came from and what kind of this is the story of that company too that we're selling. So we hope that our staff are able to educate someone coming in, like, well, but why is this better than this, you know, and being able to have that conversation.
A lot of grocery stores you go to, they have, you know, just the regular food department and then the organic
Right.
department. And is everything at the Just Food organically produced, or is it?
Not everything is organic. Our preferences go from local to organic to non-GMO. There are some conventional foods that are on our shelves, but those are vetted very carefully. If they're allowed on the shelf, it's something like, for instance, we had clementines. They were not organic.
It's kind of like a little orange, isn't it?
Right, exactly. So they're on, you know, there's something called the Dirty Dozen list with produce, and those are the things that you really, if you can buy it organically, do so, because the chemicals and things would penetrate. The things like strawberries and raspberries, you know, where the berry would be sprayed directly, versus there's something called the Clean 15 list, where if those are the things that if you've got to make choices, whether you're going to buy organic or conventional, those are the things that buying conventionally would make most sense. And clementines are one of those things, because you're going to peel off that outer shell.
Layer, yeah.
Right. So not everything is organic, but we do look at that. If we can get an organic option that's similar price to a conventional, then we will do that. You know, and some of our local farmers too, they're not certified organic just simply because of the cost. But if we know what their farming practices are,
Then
they may be farming organically, but just don't have that certification.
Do you sometimes have customers or maybe board members say, I found out about this place that produces this.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider?
Absolutely. We're glad to take calls either from folks that are recommending that we talk with a farm or a company, but we're also glad to take those calls directly from the company that would like to sell to us. There's a process that they go through just for us to know what their practices are and how they're producing, but our managers are more than happy to talk with vendors.
It sounds like you want to find good vendors
Mm-hmm.
and then build long-term relationships.
Exactly. We want that relationship with the farmers and the vendors so that we can tell their story, so that they can sell their products.
Are we starting to get over that obstacle of folks thinking that they have to be a member to be able to shop there? We're starting to get
I think
over
we're
that
getting
now?
there, but we're not there yet. You know, just even in this last year, I've heard people say, well, what do you mean, where's the co-op? From
On Water
Northfielders.
Street.
I'm like, you didn't know we were there? So I think there still is this piece that folks really don't know who we are, what we do down there sitting on Water Street. But I think we're starting to get that message out a little bit more, that you don't have to be a member to come to the co-op, to shop there, or to be there. There is member pricing in this store, but it's on select items. It's not like a big box sort of the membership-based stores where you get a different price. Those are clearly marked if it's a member special, but otherwise all the prices on the shelves are what they are for everyone. So
And you have all the modern conveniences at the checkout with the scanners
For
and
sure.
everything, just like.
Yep, absolutely. We'll even bag your groceries. That's just part of the deal. You come in, we're going to bag your groceries.
And if you need help, you'd probably carry them out to your car.
Absolutely. We'll do whatever you need us to do to make that a good experience. So.
Wow, Stephanie, we only have a minute and a half left. Is there something we should have talked about that we haven't?
You know, I'm thankful for the opportunity to come and be on the air with you, but we just really want folks to know that we're there, and we would love to have folks come in and see us, and if there's any questions or what have you, just to come and see us and check us out. And we feel like we're worth the drive, and come and see what we've got.
And they're on Water Street. I'm not sure exactly. All I know is when I go to help out at the Jesse James days,
Yep.
I always drive downtown, there's where it is. I just start heading south and I go as far as I need to go, and then I always end up walking right by the Just Food Co-op.
Exactly. If you're coming up Highway 3, hang a right on 5th Street, and then hang a right on Water Street. We're right there.
Yeah, nice big parking lot too.
Yep, and
Except
we
you
just repainted the
wouldn't-
building.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, it's got a purple awning. Look for the purple awning.
Oh, the purple awning. Could we have a discussion on reserving a parking spot for me for the next Jesse
Right.
James Day parade?
Right. I would like one too.
Well, if you don't have the clout for it, I guess I'm not either. Oh, quickly too.
Yeah.
You mentioned the website,
Yeah.
justfoodcoop.com.
It's justfood.coop. So it's co-op without the dash. So www.justfood.coop.
Thanks for coming in, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me today.
That was Stephanie Amon with Just Food Co-op here. We're listening to KDHL Radio in Faribault. It is 10 o'clock.